If you can't enjoy spending time with yourself, how can you expect anyone else to truly know and appreciate the real you? Learning to be alone isn't about isolation at all. It's about building the strongest relationship you'll ever have, the one with yourself. Hi, and welcome to the Addy Talk Show, where we inspire growth, self-love, discipline, and the courage to create the life that you deserve. And I'm Addy, your host. In today's show, we will be talking about why so many people fear being alone, how solitude can actually change your life, and how learning to enjoy your own company can become one of the greatest gifts that you'll ever give yourself. So now we're going to talk about being lonely versus being alone. So being lonely is more of a feeling, and being alone is more of a circumstance. So, for example, you can feel lonely when you're even like with a room full of people, or you can feel lonely like it doesn't have to be like a intimate relationship, but also like a friendship or a relationship that you have with a family member. You can still feel that feel of loneliness, as opposed to being alone. You're simply just alone by yourself with your own thoughts. And for example, I did want to share like something small. It's personal, but just to kind of give an example, like when I was in my marriage, I did feel a lot of moments that I felt lonely. Like I felt like I had no one to actually truly count on. And as opposed to when I left that marriage, I was able to find myself again, and I was able to find peace within. And just to keep the story short, I have never felt any better than just simply being alone, but still feeling fulfilled. These can be some reasons or examples on why we fear being alone. One can be that we fear missing out on what others are doing. We also maybe rely on other people for happiness, or we can be uncomfortable sitting in our own thoughts. We think that being alone means that we have failed. And of course, social media doesn't actually help with this, because it makes it sometimes seem that people on social media are always surrounded by people. Sometimes we're not actually afraid of being alone, but what we will discover about ourselves when we are sitting alone in our own thoughts and everything just gets quiet. These are a few signs that you're uncomfortable being alone. You always need background noise. You constantly check your phone. You avoid spending time by yourself. You stay in an unhealthy relationship because you don't want to be alone. And you feel like you always need to make plans to feel okay. And this one is a big one. It was a big one for me, is that I struggled to enjoy the quiet moments, quiet times when I'm just sitting there alone in my own thoughts. Now, I want to talk about the benefits of learning to be alone. You learn who you really are without outside opinions. You also discover your own values and your own goals. You become more confident. Confidence grows when you learn to rely on yourself and you start making better decisions. You stop making those choices or those decisions just to please other people. Your relationships improve, and then you start finding that inner peace, because the silence becomes calming instead of uncomfortable. You actually start craving to be alone. And you also have a lot more time to grow and to learn new stuff. You have time to read, exercise, journal, pray, meditate, just work on your goals in general. Now, I want to give you guys some tips on how to become more comfortable being alone. So here's tip number 1. You can start small. You can start by spending 15 to 30 minutes alone without any distractions. You can go on a walk, go drink a coffee alone, read a book. Now, tip number 2, you can stop running from silence. You don't always need music, TV, or social media. You can just sit down peacefully in your own thoughts. Tip number 3, you can take yourself on a solo date. I do these a lot. coffee shop, bookstore, museum, hiking, lunch, shopping. I don't know, whatever you enjoy, do it with yourself, company of yourself. And trust me, at first it's going to be very uncomfortable, but then you'll get used to it the more and more you do it, and you'll actually really enjoy those times spent alone. Tip number 4, build a life that you love. When your life is full of purpose, being alone feels less empty. So you can focus on fitness, career, hobbies, personal growth, faith, family. Whatever fulfills you, do that. Tip number 5, change your mindset. Instead of saying, I'm alone, you can start saying, I get to invest in myself. These words can truly shape how you experience solitude. So now I want to share a little personal story of mine. So after I separated from my ex-husband, I took the time to just be completely alone. And at first, yes, I'm not going to lie, I was a little afraid of doing that. But since I felt that I was already, like I said, like feeling that loneliness feeling, within my marriage, I decided, like, you know what, since I already feel this way, let's just not add that extra weight. And there was a lot more going on, so I decided to just separate and just be me, so I can just focus on me and make my own decisions without having surrounding noise or other people's opinions or any comments. And from that day forward, I want to say that I felt in peace, like just peaceful and in peace. And that's probably like the best thing I've ever done for myself. Out of a marriage that was not serving me in any way, shape, or form. If anything, it was taking away from me. And now I can say that I'm living peacefully. I want to give you guys the 3 mindsets that helped me throughout my journey. So mindset number 1 was being alone is something, or isn't something that you fear. It's actually an opportunity for you to grow. And then shift number 2 is your happiness shouldn't depend on someone else's presence. And 3, the relationship you have with yourself sets the tone for every other relationship in your life. I want you guys to challenge yourselves this week and go ahead and just sit by yourself without any distractions, no phone, nothing, and just sit in there with your thoughts and ask yourself questions. For example, one can be, what kind of life am I creating for myself? Now, thank you so much for listening. And if today's episode inspired you or challenged you in any way or gave you something to think about, please make sure to subscribe, like, and share it with a friend who could benefit from this episode. Let's keep growing, believing, and becoming. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye.